That now it says I'm live. That's so weird. Okay, let's... How's the sound? Okay, so we are... Now it says I'm live. Okay, we're live. We're live. In classic fashion, the beginning of this video is me struggling through the technology of going live. This is like the only way to start a live video, apparently. And I don't know if you've noticed, but there is music in the background. That small success is a huge thing for me. Yeah, I struggle with technology. I struggle with... Sorry, I have a guest. Yeah, I can do that later. But now, lock the door though, okay, bud? Thanks, man. Okay, all right, so we are set. It is Saturday. I hope you are all having a great day. I'm super thankful it's the weekend. Las Vegas. We have some, I think I have some, oh no, they're in Nashville. I was gonna say, I think I have some colleagues traveling. No music, huh? Well, you sure? Just listen closely. Listen. No, there's music. Just turn it up. It's supposed to be soft. It's supposed to be like a soft background music. I can turn it up, but it's a soft, lo-fi background music. It's there. Okay. So, what is everyone up to on the weekends? What is everybody up to? What do you do on a Saturday morning? Typically, I surf, then I come back, and then I work for the rest of the day. Mostly on, this is when I create content, record, and edit a little bit. Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Nice. Tallow cream. Is it Drake? It is not Drake. Dr. Shah is the Drake fan. Also, too, there's this thing I think with streaming, and I don't know if this is true, but y'all can probably tell me. There's like, you can't use copyright music, so you have to like pay for access to this copyright-free, royalty-free music. So I can't play like Jack Johnson like I might want to on a Saturday morning. I can't play. By the way, Carla Bruni, a French artist, amazing. I've been listening to that since I got back from France nonstop. But I can't play these songs that I love for you, and we can have the shared experience. There's really no good reason why that is. But so you just hear random beats in the background. Dr. Shah is not here. He has been traveling. I think he is still asleep. So, in usual fashion. 11 p.m. in Australia. Thank you for tuning in. If it was 11 p.m., I would 100% be asleep. Paris. Fell in love with Paris. Absolutely love Paris. So, of course, throughout this, we're going to be talking just about whatever you want, really, but mostly skincare stuff, mostly skincare questions, or if you want to just tell me what you're eating, what you're doing, what you want to do for exercise, whatever. I'm open to that too. I'm just here hanging out. Torrance, California, Nepal. I have a lot of friends actually in Nepal, Kentucky. Out of everywhere I have friends, I don't think I have anybody in Kentucky, but Dr. Shah used to live in Kentucky for a very brief period in his life. Okay, so let's just jump right in. So yes, I'm going to go through the questions that you are sending in. Also, I am going to just talk about some products I love. We do this on the podcast too, but sometimes I feel like they need a little more love. One of which, and I'll just start with this one here. So, I have been going on this journey, and Dr. Shah has some great products out, blah, 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 all that stuff. So I've been using the Remedy for Pores exclusively. I've had a break in other skincare obligations, and I've been using Remedy for Pores exclusively now for about 3 weeks. And it's a strong product. I actually got a decent amount of irritation from it, which is a testament to, I think, its strength. However, I had an unexpected savior. I don't know if any of you have used this product, and I'm not sure if it's Glossier or Glossier. I don't know if the R is a true R or one of those silent R's. But if you've not tried this product, it's unique. My first take on it, I used it maybe 3 months ago, but I didn't love it. It kind of has the consistency. If you've ever, did the thing with the wall, like if you have a hole in your wall, putty. If you put putty over the wall, it's that thick and that grippy. And I don't know why I was so inclined to use it again. But I started using this after my Remedy skincare. And even within a day, it made a dramatic difference. Here, I'll show you. So it's this super thick, like it's not going anywhere off of my finger, no matter how hard I shake it and try to throw it around. And a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to do a little bit. Everything I'm seeing is kind of on a delay too. So I'm not sure how this is going to look because I'm not seeing myself in real time at the moment. But it is super thick. And a little goes a long way. But it is also super bland. I was at the point my skin barrier, even, that when you kind of try new things, sometimes your skin barrier gets pretty irritated. I was using some of my favorites, even the La Roche-Posay Triple Moisturizing Cream, their Double Repair Facial Moisturizing Cream, CeraVe Healing Ointment, and even those were kind of burny, stingy, but this was not. So this has become a staple in my reparative skincare routine now. So shout out to this After Balm from Glossier. Absolutely love it. So anyway, that's it. That's the one shout out I wanted to do because I have just been wildly impressed with that product. So let's take a look at what is on your mind. How are you? Is it okay to use Cosrx snail mucin during microneedling? So question being, snail mucin, microneedling. Let's break this apart. Microneedling, there is the in-office experience, which is the true experience where you use a device and create thousands of microtrauma, little holes in the skin. Myriad of benefits, elevates other topical ingredients. It stimulates collagen directly. It helps vicariously with anything pretty much, from pore size to pigmentation, melasma, collagen, wrinkles, whatever have you. So wide benefits from microneedling. Now the kicker is you've just destroyed and disrupted your skin barrier deliberately with a functional purpose, but it just happens. So can you use snail mucin with that? I would actually propose yes. And the reason is snail mucin is, although thought to be gimmicky, we did a whole video on this. It's still one of my, probably in my top 10 favorite videos, just because I love the topic. But snail mucin has been studied in the setting of sensitive skin, that being atopic dermatitis and eczema, and also in the reparative skin sector for wound healing. So I actually think snail mucin is a very reasonable ingredient post-procedure if you so feel inclined. I would still propose something more ointment-based, like a petrolatum-based. That's by far the gold standard. By the way, Cetaphil coming out with their Cetaphil, what is it? Their healing ointment? I mean, it's a pretty close spin on the CeraVe healing ointment, but it's good too. They actually did some studies, large studies, by the way. Like if you want to see how cosmetics should or could be studied, look up the Cetaphil healing ointment studies on wound care post-procedurally. That was like 1,000 patients and more than one study. Like these are real clinical trials. And it's probably because Cetaphil is owned by Galderma, a pharma company. And so they really have some strong studies showing that the Cetaphil healing ointment post-procedure is a great option. So that's legit. Probably going to talk about that more in the future as well. Let's see here. A swimming question. That's good because I love to swim. I just love to swim. That's like my go-to. When my knees go out so I can't run, swimming is my backup option basically. And I surf all the time. So do I take up swimming? Wait, no, what am I talking about? Doctor, I want to take up swimming, but I'm worried about the potential damage to my skin due to chlorine in the water. Is there anything you can do to prevent this and eventually reverse the damage? Chlorine is interesting because chlorine exposure in pools, obviously, there's always been the question of how does that react with skin, and then also how does it react with sensitive skin? So there are a lot of studies with chlorine in the setting of atopic dermatitis and eczema, and it's been back and forth, meaning that, like is usually the case, it's not 100% definitive how harmful it is, or if it's really that harmful at all. It is definitely, I think, hard and drying on the skin, though, altogether. And so the first and most important thing, really, you can't avoid the damage that's being done in the pool. I don't think you can like lather yourself up with anything that's going to prevent the chlorine from getting onto your skin. And so the most important thing is rinse it off fairly quickly when you get out. And I think anyone who's been in a pool experiences this. Even if you rinse it off like fairly quickly, you still kind of have that lingering chlorine smell and that chlorine sensation no matter what you do. So beyond that, I would say just make sure you're applying a robust moisturizer, like a good rinse, good wash, robust moisturizer afterwards. And it's probably the most you can do to mitigate that damage and mitigate just the chlorine effect on your skin. Of course, there's the saltwater pool thing. If you are fortunate enough to be in a position where you have access to a saltwater pool, whether it's yours or a community pool, I think that is by far the preferable option. Oh, that's weird. Huh. I didn't know ads popped up in the middle of this too while I'm talking. So I'm also watching myself to make sure that it doesn't fall apart, because I'm not a streamer. I'll say this a million times. I struggle with technology. There you go. My 10th time caveating that. Okay. Can you recommend products for uneven tone on the body? I mean, you could use the Remedy body, which is the under comment right below it. But uneven tone on the body, you're looking for ingredients that will help with tone, including your retinoids, including your exfoliators. Vitamin C is acceptable. And then you're supporting cast, like your kojic acid, tranexamic acid, glutathione, soy, and the list goes on. I hate to say it, but one of my favorite products is still the Necessaire Body Retinol. It combines your retinol and your exfoliating acid into a pretty decent sized product. And I think it is probably still one of the most complete products out there for tone on the body. It's something I recommend in the office all the time, but because it's kind of expensive, I do always caveat it with, well, what's your budget friendly alternative? And with that, I still say, like, you know, the Gold Bonds has a retinol that has become kind of popular, at least better known. Versed has a body retinol, very inexpensive and another good option. But I do believe that even the Remedy for body bumps, I think it was, and or the Necessaire body retinol are two premier options. Necessaire being the more expensive of the two, I suppose. So that's a good one there. I'll just say this now. Is tallow cream good for the skin? I'm going to have to look into that, to be honest. Out of what I know, I don't have a strong opinion on that. So tallow is going to have to go on the back burner until I can take some time to come up with a strong opinion about that. Because I don't want to just misspeak. Most of these things I have like a large... I've dedicated a lot of my time and studied like just on these, exactly what we're talking about now. But if I don't know a whole lot or haven't invested the time, I probably won't answer something like that. But let's see. Wait. From Dan Renz, sir, what is the best medical field for time? I don't know what you mean by that. If you throw in another comment, I'll get to that question too, but I don't know what you mean. What is the best medical field for time? I don't know if you mean for like kind of lifestyle, where you have a balance between your work and your life, but you let me know. Okay, so, some good comments here. Good comments. So many great comments and questions. I love talking about this. I don't know if you know this, but this is one of my favorite things. I haven't done a lot of lives lately, in part because the technology is kind of daunting, but one of my favorite things is interacting with you. And it's actually a huge priority of mine to make sure we're doing this more regularly. A huge priority. So I have gone live across different platforms probably 4 or 5 times in the last couple of months. And that's actually pretty good for me, but I'm looking to make this very regular. Okay. Do I have a personal favorite retinol product? I'm going to put that on the back burner, and I'm going to think about that while I talk about the next question, because there's so many good retinol products out there. It's going to take me a minute to come up with some of my favorites. That's difficult. There's so many great products. The next question, though, while I also think about that, as my brain thinks about two things at once, is sweaty palms. How do you stop it? So sweaty palms, sweaty feet, actually too, sweaty lips, foreheads. This is all part of the spectrum of hyperhidrosis, where your normal sweat glands are hypersensitive to a normal amount of stimulation. Meaning that, like, obviously we go outside and we exercise, you get hot, your body sweats to try to cool you down. And it creates some amount of signal through acetylcholine to do that. That's like a cellular signaling molecule. Now, with that same amount of signaling molecule, some people get an exorbitant amount of stress. So if we just throw in a random number, let's say you make 50 acetylcholine molecules, fake number. Normal person sweats, let's say, I don't know, fake number, 50 milliliters. Someone with hyperhidrosis, 50 acetylcholine molecules creates 500, whatever the stimulation was. So the problem is actually just the sensitivity of the glands to the normal stimulus. And although one ingredient does address that directly, all of the rest of the treatments are more directed to like clogging up the sweat glands. So the first one, which was the most unique treatment, is the one I kind of teased out there for a moment. This is an ingredient or a product. The product is called Qbrexza. And this is a topical version of what was an oral treatment previously. And so locally, you put it on your palms. Actually, it's not approved for the palms. Pretend I didn't say that. You can get that through like compounding pharmacies. I think Skin Medicinals has that. That's up to your dermatologist to help. It's difficult to get this ingredient. Let's say armpits. But again, you can use this ingredient on the palms as well functionally. And what it does is it actually blocks that stimulus from interacting with your sweat glands. For some people, it works really well. And I think it's the most direct targeted treatment for this. So I do love it. I wish it was less expensive, more widely available. And again, you can try, or your doctor hopefully can use some sort of compounding pharmacy to help you get that ingredient. That's also not easy. So the expectation of your dermatologist being able to do that across the board is unrealistic right now, sadly. But that's one option. More functionally to what you have available over the counter, the first things are your deodorants. You're like, oh, well, that's probably something you've tried. But if you haven't, obviously try to put your deodorant there. Ooh, this is going to lend into the whole body deodorant thing. That is coming. Ooh, I'm getting more and more passionate about this whole body deodorant thing, but that next. So you can use your aluminum chloride deodorants. That's actually one of the first line treatments that you have to try anyway. They actually make it in a solution. So if you find like the sticks are difficult to put on, you can use a solution. Also, you can use a deodorant spray. Additionally, they have magnesium deodorants. Now they have a ton. There's cornstarch. I've been trying a lot of different non-aluminum deodorants just to be well versed in that area as well, as I always try to be. Additionally, they have devices that you can get at home or in the office where they actually will put your hands in a small amount of electricity, which sounds wild, but it's believe it or not, functionally completely fine. And what it does is it drives the electrolytes into your sweat glands. It's called iontophoresis, and it plugs them up so you don't sweat so much. So, okay, that was a long-winded answer too. You can either try to plug up the sweat glands with some form of deodorant. You can try to drive electrolytes into there with a at-home and in-office device. So if it works for you, you can get this at home. It can be very helpful. And then the last thing is through a prescription, you can more directly interact and interrupt the molecular signaling of your sweat glands from your nervous system. So 3 ways to do it in ascending order of complexity and difficulty. Hugs from Aruba, Caribbean. I'll take that. That sounds great. Ooh, that's an interesting question. Does retinol... Oh, you're very welcome for the live, by the way, Judy. I appreciate you all for hopping on and spending your time with me as well. But does retinol turn vellus hairs into terminal hairs? The question being for a receding female hairline. So there is this idea that tretinoin or retinoids in general can help with hair loss. And there was this trend, which I will say I did not participate in because I felt like it was too nuanced of a topic, to where people were like, oh, you could put tretinoin here, hair growth. It's actually very nuanced. So my first thought with the retinoid increasing hair growth I was like, well, most of the studies were done with tretinoin and minoxidil, Rogaine. And almost exclusively, that's what been shown where tretinoin or retinoids have been shown to be helpful. The question is why? The why, which I am obsessed with, is 1, it's a penetration enhancer. So tretinoin, by disrupting the top layer of the skin, by increasing skin cell turnover, can increase the absorption of your other ingredients, including your hair loss ingredients like minoxidil, making them more effective. That's 1. The second part of this is there's actually a specific, I believe it's a gene or a receptor. I'm sorry, I read the study, but I've only read it once or twice. And this interaction with tretinoin actually interacts and stops this gene, eventually making your minoxidil more effective. So not only does tretinoin increase the absorption of your minoxidil or Rogaine, it actually on some sort of genetic or receptor level very specifically and uniquely and targetedly towards Rogaine and minoxidil makes it more effective as well. So I actually do not believe that tretinoin as a solo ingredient has much benefit for hair loss. I just don't. I haven't seen evidence for it, and physiologically I don't see an argument for it. But I do believe it can help other ingredients, the most direct one being minoxidil or Rogaine. Okay, so whole body deodorant. So here's why I'm passionate about this. I think we already put a podcast up about this too, so sorry if this is a repeat topic for you. Whole body deodorant is actually not for your whole body. That's called cologne, of which I have a couple now because I've gotten in PR boxes. Whole body deodorant is made to be used on the hot spots. What are your hot spots? It's not the hot spots that you think they are. Your hot spots from a dermatologist perspective are your armpit, your backside, your feet, and your groin. Areas where odor occurs, and there's a high density often of apocrine glands, especially axilla, armpits, groin, backside. Now, whole body deodorants are mostly alcohol and fragrance, which is why I have kind of steered away from them in general, because as a dermatologist, I'm like, alcohol, fragrance, and that's your whole product. Like, I can't get on board with that. Now, the alcohol and whole body deodorant, I was talking to one of my colleagues, Dr. Casal here recently, who does like these. No discredit to him, it's just his personal and professional opinion. The alcohol is functional here, and I didn't really think about it that way initially. The alcohol here is actually to also kill bacteria. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Now, conversely, I think another option is that you could use a chlorhexidine wash, which is a Hibiclens wash. Why would you use this wash? Because it lasts for 24 hours on the skin. It has antibacterial properties that are long lasting. And then you can just use a deodorant. You can just use your normal deodorant. And this is the one thing that the whole body deodorants currently are lacking. They have no antiperspirant activity. So if you use my combination of chlorhexidine and then a true antiperspirant deodorant or a classic antiperspirant deodorant, then you will decrease the sweat. So the bacteria that do occur and grow throughout the day will not have a chance to convert that to odor. And therefore, you address both the odor-causing bacteria and the sweating that contribute to odor on any hot spots, such as the armpits, feet, groin, backside. And I prefer that right now. So I actually think the perfect whole body deodorant doesn't quite exist. I like the idea because I think it brings attention to something that actually is not talked about enough and does need to be brought into the light, because it's a very personal thing when people struggle with body odor. It really is actually very personal and can be very distressing. So I'm glad it's actually being marketed right now because it's helping people. But I think that the perfect product is yet to exist. Am I going to make that product? No, but I guarantee someone will. So let's see, this is it right here. So my son's feet will not stink if he does this. It might help. Now, if this is for your son's feet, I want you to Google this condition. Oh, I actually found a way to, wait. Okay, let me try this out real quick. Bear with me. I am going to Google this condition and see if I can show it to you. Let's see if this works. So we're talking now specifically about stinky feet. And we are going to pull something up here. I'm going to look this up and I'm going to show it to you. There is more than one cause of stinky feet, and this one will be fine. One of the ones that is always in a dermatologist's repertoire is this condition right here. It's called pitted keratolysis. So I have to create the browser. Just call it feet, hit OK. This is not as quick as I was hoping it would be, but just bear with me. I know how to do it now, and so I'm quite proud of that. Clearly, I don't know how to do it the best way. Perfect. Now, boom, transition. And then boom, interact. Accept. X. Scroll down. Okay. Can you see this foot? I believe you can. This is the condition called pitted keratolysis. If you can't see it, sorry. I feel like you can. I hope you can. But pitted keratolysis is a condition where you get these small holes on the bottom of the feet. They're not deep, but it looks textured, kind of like an orange. And with this, it's from a specific type of bacteria. I think it was a Corynebacterium species in the family of it. But now, I don't know, I feel like they've renamed it. I think they did rename this bacteria, but just forgive me. Anyway, the treatment for this is different. You can use a benzoyl peroxide wash, Hibiclens wash, and topical antibiotics because it is a bacteria that causes this that's actually kind of eating and very adherent to the skin. So enjoy that picture of the bottom of a foot. If you have particularly smelly feet or you know someone who does, lovingly, you could share this information with them and perhaps it would be helpful. All right, the feet picture is now going away. I think that was successful and I am so proud of it. Even if that was cumbersome and arduous and slow to get to, I'm very proud that that just happened. And you should be too. Okay, now I have to find out how to get back to the YouTube feed. Where did it go? Okay. Yes. Oh, I'm so proud of that. Okay. Are Korean beauty products good for the skin? I love Korean beauty products. So I'm hoping we get the chance to partner with Yes Style here. I love Korean products. I think aesthetically they're great. I think the heart of it in that it's just it's a cooperative thought process to classic Western skincare. And what do I mean by that? In the prescription world, in the over-the-counter world in America, like we have very high affinity for these active ingredients, like case in point, remedy for pores, we have retinol, right? Actually, the dark spot one's probably a better example, where you have ingredients that exfoliate, like your retinol, and then you have alpha hydroxy acids. They're highly effective, but irritating. And then, like a lot of this behind me, which you can't see the whole spectrum here, a lot of these Korean products are incredibly hydrating, gentle, soothing, and then functional too, but I don't believe the ceiling is quite as high as a lot of these powerful ingredients like your retinol and exfoliating acids. So I think these products are not only extremely gentle, extremely effective, extremely aesthetic, relatively effective. They definitely have targeted benefits for your skin concerns, but I think they complement your classic like dermatologist type skincare so well. And the sunscreens are lights out. I love these sunscreens. I found a new water resistant Korean sunscreen that does not have zinc or titanium. It does have homosalate, which is an American filter, but I'll be honest, that's the closest thing I have found to a waterproof Korean sunscreen that uses Korean filters. So hopefully, I think that's on its way now. I'm hoping that answers all of my dreams when it comes to Korean sunscreen. So we will see. What else? Okay, you said favorite retinols. Actually, I'd love to hear from you. What are your favorite retinols as well? Because there are so many good ones, I'm invariably going to forget some, and I'd like to see what you all love. And you can say a retinol or something like that, I guess, but I'm trying to think of specifically retinol products here. One of my favorites is still the CeraVe resurfacing retinol. It's just so budget friendly. It's kind of feels like the OG of a Skinimalist product because it's inexpensive. It's a retinol that also has some ingredients to help with really just most aging concerns, uneven tone, dark spots, etc. And so while it's probably not the most effective and aesthetically it's good, but not like lights out, I wouldn't take the time to talk about how good it feels. The CeraVe resurfacing retinol is still one of my favorite. Obviously, Dr. Shah's products, the pore product and the dark spot product are also retinol products, and I can't think of any better version of those for their respective skin concerns. So this have to be mentioned. Even when he's not here, they have to be mentioned because they are that good. Let's see. What? The Rock Retinol Eye Cream. I'm bothered that I like that one so much because it's a brand that's not super transparent, with the concentration and encapsulation. So I love it. It's been extremely good for gentle, sensitive skin, which I don't really have. But if you watch my videos, my wife does. And so that's my surrogate marker for the sensitive skin person. And she's been tolerating fine. So that actually, the Rock Retinol Eye Cream has been a game changer in my household for retinol products. Skin Medica. Ooh, that's a good one. Eye serum from Booty of Joseon, the Retinol. I think I just got that in the mail. Ooh, or not. It's coming too, I think. Yeah, Aven retinaldehyde. Those are very good. Those are very, very good. That's a good one too. Naturium has a good retinol that's not too expensive. I don't think I've tried that. So thank you for bringing that one up. Hopefully I can try that too. Olay Max Retinol. Olay has a great retinol. They actually really have a great retinol line because they often combine retinols with peptides, especially in their eye cream. They don't get much love. I guess it's their fault. They didn't really invest in the whole social media buzz, but Olay does have some good products as well. Different is the GOAT for acne. Yeah, OTC Different is absolutely the GOAT, and props to the brand who use it because it's very expensive to work with. Dr. Shah was filling me in on why Different is like this weirdly, awkwardly regulated over-the-counter ingredient that you can't mix and match. Like you can't make a Different or Adapalene product that has like a nice custom formulation. It's kind of wild. Paula's Choice Retinol. That's a great one too. Yeah. Vanacream. Yeah. Vanacream sunscreen. Sorry. Yeah, I just saw that in the next comment. Vanacream sunscreen is so good. Actually, where is that? I have all my Vanacream products together because I'm going to be doing something with these soon. It's so good. Okay, quick shout out to some non-tinted mineral sunscreens that blend. I am blown away. Like I have a darker skin tone and most mineral sunscreens will leave a cast just on my skin. Like all of them will fail to some extent with a facial hair. It's just unavoidable with mineral sunscreens. But the fact that the Vanacream one blends with my skin, wild. And it's so inexpensive. It does a pretty good job. Now, also, I did a sponsored video with Biossance for their relaunch of their mineral squalene sunscreen. I'm very passionate about this sunscreen to a fault. The Biossance mineral sheer squalene sunscreen, I struggle with the names. Incredible. It is incredible how well that blends with my skin tone. It's so hydrating for a mineral sunscreen. It's premier non-tinted mineral sunscreen. So I am obsessed with that product lately. Yeah, the Verse Gentle Retinol Serum. That is a good one too. Anyway, so I'm not sure I gave you like the best list of over-the-counter retinols, but here's something I think you could notice. Barring the Rock Eye Cream, when I think of retinol, I often think of it paired with other ingredients. So my mind automatically goes to, okay, retinol plus. Like what's the retinol plus product, or what retinol am I going to pair with like a stacked product? So I love these products that use retinol consistently. And can you use Tret around the eyes? I'm a little bit of a cowboy when it comes to skincare. I think you can trust and know your skin, and no rule is a true rule when it comes to personalizing your skincare. I would not use tretinoin around my eyes. I wouldn't even consider it. It is far too irritating for that area, in my opinion. I would say retinol only around the eyes, and that's it. And I'm a little bit cavalier, so even coming from me, Tret probably has no place around your eyes. Alternative to Adapalene, so Adapalene being different again. So Adapalene, there are a lot of studies showing that Adapalene is, for acne, as effective as your low-strength tretinoin and less irritating. If you can't tolerate Adapalene over the counter and you're looking for its acne benefits, you're in a tough spot, because I don't think any of the other options, retinol or retinol, are as effective, nearly as effective, not even close to Adapalene for acne. And this is where a person really needs to lean on prescription options, because you have some topical ingredients prescription-wise, specifically topical antibiotics, just topical, even, that I do believe are quite comparable to the benefits of something like Adapalene, and extremely gentle. So again, if someone's struggling with using Adapalene, you're probably going to have to see a dermatologist for your acne. if you need something that effective, but more gentle. Oh no, castor oil. Okay, what is my opinion for castor oil for skin use? I'm gonna like stand up to tell you this. Castor oil is not helpful. Where does this come from? Where is castor oil getting this legacy of beneficial ideas? It's just not, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. So castor oil really, in my mind, has almost no place for skincare. It's not as harmful. It's not as bad as olive oil, which is the true trashiest oil for all of skin in its pure form. But castor oil has no utility. My nurses, God bless them, I love my nurses. There's a couple of them who are obsessed with castor oil. You know who you are, which I'm sure they're not watching this video because they have to deal with me all week. But I mean, they're putting it in their belly button. They're putting it on their eyelashes. And I die a little inside every time I hear them talking about their castor oil hacks because I know it's not doing anything for them. Let's see. When does a dermatologist prescribe spironolactone for acne? So spironolactone. What is spironolactone? What is acne? Why is there this crossover? Acne is from, if you get to the heart of all acne, there is a hormonal component, typically your masculinizing hormones, that interact with your oil glands, that increase oil production, that increase the pore clogging, which allows for bacteria to grow, which causes inflammation. But at the very beginning, there was this thing about hormones, and that's where spironolactone acts. So spironolactone is a blood pressure medicine and also has other benefits for like the heart, et cetera, et cetera. At a low dose, even at a low dose, it has this aldosterone inhibition, and it also has this blocking of your skin's hormonal receptors to your circulating hormones. So spironolactone acts on that first step, the hormonal part of acne, which very few things do. And this does it in a way that's interesting because it does not change your hormones significantly. It changes your normal level of hormones and their interaction with your receptor, which is kind of nice actually, because I don't think you want, I mean, birth control is the other side, where birth control, you have it changing your hormones to change the acne side of it. So I think it's a nicer option if you're looking at interaction of hormones and acne. So when a person would prescribe it, it would be a female who has prominent, classically, cystic acne along the jawline. That's the person who's going to respond best because of that hormonal interaction across your whole body, and then specifically with the skin here. So that's your classic patient who's going to be getting oral spironolactone. There are a lot of studies showing that it's as effective as topical antibiotics, or no, there's a lot of studies showing it's as effective as oral antibiotics. And because it doesn't mess with your gut microbiome, because it's not an antibiotic, it has a better role for long-term treatments or longer-term treatments. Then there's Winlevi, which is this topical version of spironolactone basically, and it just interacts with the hormones locally in the skin because it's topical. I've heard a lot of mixed results from it. I do use it quite a bit because there's nothing else like it. Nothing else mimics that effect. And it has a place, but that one can be used for anybody. I'm just looking here. My face feels kind of dry, so I'm just seeing what is around me right now that I could use. Did you see that? You probably didn't. Biossance had made this pack with my name on it, and I'm so excited about it because I absolutely love these products. I'm kind of doubling down on these things, some of them, because like I felt like I was always apologetic about products I would do promotions for, but I'm so proud of these products. I love these products so much. Like I just want to express that correctly. But anyway, so this one I'm so happy my name is on this product. This is their copper peptide serum. And if you're wondering if I used vitamin C earlier, I did not. Oh, that's another question too. So while I apply this copper peptide serum and then a nice moisturizer, pardon the technique, I'm in a cramped space because of the microphone. A question I think someone sent me earlier in the comments about the live was, what's with this not mixing vitamin C and retinol? And then they referenced this Paula's Choice video. And I would show you the video, but I'm not completely confident that I could figure out the audio of the video while I show it to you. But this is the basic idea. You cannot mix retinol and vitamin C, and this has been perpetuated for years. This is one of the first like do not mix things I've ever seen. Do not mix your retinoid with your vitamin C. And this is the Biossance Squalane Probiotic Gel Moisturizer. Oof, it's so good. So good. Anyway, so why? The question is always why? Why could you not mix retinol and vitamin C? You tell me why. Tell me, like, can anybody tell me why? The only reasons would be functional, in that does your retinoid inactivate or negate the benefits of your vitamin C, like an oxidative ingredient like benzoyl peroxide and retinol, or an oxidative ingredient like benzoyl peroxide and vitamin C, or an oxidizing ingredient like hypochlorous acid and vitamin C or any other antioxidant. Retinol and vitamin C do not have this. So there's not this competing functional component between these two ingredients. So that can't be it. If my face is really red, by the way, sorry, it's my rosacea has been flared for a long time. The other side of this is, okay, if it's not a direct competing role, which it is not, is it a formulation thing? Now I'm no cosmetic chemist, but I have talked to many, and I actually find it very interesting because always this is the case behind the scenes. They all have different answers, but it's always based off the formulation. So you'll find quite a few ingredients with both vitamin C and a retinoid in them. It's just a matter of formulating it so they're both stable. And most of that, or some of that, is based off of pH. And I have actually bookmarked some studies that I've read showing that both function decently well at an acidic pH. Retinoids included can be stable, but I mean, what do I know? I'm just reading the studies. I'm not doing the work behind the scenes. And I know for a fact, though, that these two ingredients can functionally work together. They can be stable in the same product, and they can both exist together in the same formulation, and then both have benefits on the skin afterwards. So if it's not functionality, if it's not a problem with formulation that can't be overcome, then it must be a problem with irritation. That's your only other option. And for some people, that's going to be true. I agree. I think L-ascorbic acid products in particular can be irritating, but not always, not for everybody. And retinoids can be irritating. Retinol can be irritating, but not always, not for everybody. And so you will find these occasional products with both of these formulated together, and that is absolutely acceptable. Paula's Choice, again, they put this video up. I had to dig for it this morning. It's like maybe 7 or 8 videos back, but they basically said the same thing, that this problem doesn't exist. For some reason it publicly does exist, but it shouldn't exist, and so I don't worry about that at all. Let's see here. Anyway, back to the questions at hand. I did see another question. Wait, what did I just see? Okay, I'll address that one next. I did have this question about, should you use your strong tretinoin? Where did that go? I actually don't know if you can see me or not, because the camera, I don't see anything. One sec, I'm gonna take a look at the camera here. I don't see myself anymore. Okay, I'm back. It's always something, right? All right, so the question was, well, I get a drink of coffee too. The question was, should you use tretinoin at a lower strength daily, or should you use a higher strength tretinoin less frequently? Let me rephrase that. Should you use a strong tretinoin every few days, or should you use a weaker tretinoin every day? And I will always anchor on consistency. So I believe that if you use a lower strength tretinoin or a lower strength retinoid more consistently, you're going to get better benefits than using a strong one every now and then. I believe the same thing about food. I believe the same thing about exercise. When I exercise, and I'm actually going to do these videos, it's just a matter of when. I'm making some big life changes here soon. So my schedule, I drive 2 hours a day for work in real life right now, if you can imagine. And that's a lot of my day. But anyways, we're gonna do some exercise stuff together in the future, believe it or not. Anyway, so for consistency trumps inconsistency but like aggressive inconsistency. So use your lower strength retinoid more frequently, use your lower strength tretinoin more frequently, and then that will give you better results than a higher strength every few days, in my opinion, although both will have benefits overall. Okay, where is Beyonce? Was she supposed to be here? Didn't she do that country song recently? I'm pretty sure she did. People loved that. I mean, it was pretty good, I guess. Okay, this question. Is it normal to have back hair? It's an insecurity. So I would say yes. It's extremely normal for people to have back hair. Now, there are medical conditions that can be associated with this. High insulin level states can be associated with this, but mostly something called hirsutism. So if you want to look this up as well, hirsutism, it's not just that, the hair on the back, but it can be indicative of an underlying hormonal problem. So if it's sudden, if it's abrupt, if you think it's excessive, you probably would want to see a doctor for hirsutism or hair on the back. Again, if it's just, it is normal though for a lot of people in life. And the crazy thing is, whatever reason, the whole programming of our body is very wild. I mean, like over the course of my life, I'm probably going to have less hair here, more hair here, more hair here and here. Why? Oh yeah, and less hair here. Like little talked about over time, typically later in life, like post 70s, you're going to lose your hair on your arms and legs. Guess what? You're not going to have to shave your legs anymore. For some people, that's quite nice. But that's later in life. So let's see. Let's see here. Someone is knocking. Let's see why. All right, we're back again. I feel like these interruptions are kind of unavoidable. We all have lives, and they don't actually bother me anymore. Am I a dentist? No, but if I was, I'd be telling you how to strengthen your teeth and get nice white teeth. I'm not a dentist. If you are a dentist, get a hold of me. I need a dentist, not for any functional reason that I know of, but I to my own dismay, I haven't seen a dentist in a while. My thought is, as long as my teeth look good. If they look healthy, they're probably healthy, and I have good dental hygiene overall, so I don't frequent dentists as much as most people. Yikes, I know, but it is what it is. Tell Biossance to put your face on it, and I'd buy it 100%. I would love to walk into like a Sephora Ulta, and my face is on these trio of Biossance products. I would be so happy. I might just buy them all because I love them. I started back hair laser removal, best decision ever. Yeah, it's a big investment, but certainly can be worthwhile. The problem I have, so I don't know if any of you have tried these. I'm just seeing if I have one right next to me because I usually have most things right next to me. No, it's downstairs. It's in the bathroom. So you had a root canal? Yikes. So did someone else I know. Anyway, so the Ulike hair removal devices, that's just a brand I know, like the home IPL devices. Interestingly, a lot of my colleagues were at this Procter & Gamble meeting recently, and they were talking about the difference between at home and in office IPL. And it actually helps with hair loss in a different way. But I do believe some of them can be helpful. Obviously, treating your own back is impossible. So not only is it a financial commitment, it's also the commitment of whoever lives at home with you, because you're going to need them to do home IPL on your back, which is kind of a lot to ask of someone. However, maybe they love you enough to do it. That would be nice. Darkness in the corner of my mouth. So this is a tough thing. I actually put up a video here doing the whole mermaid is my wife kind of thing, which I find quite fun. So lip concerns are quite difficult. Skin around the lips is also quite difficult because the skin is sensitive and a lot of the problems are refractory to treatment. So some people get melasma here, where you get this brownness around the mouth as well as the rest of the face. A lot of people get these vertical lines and wrinkles here that bother them quite a bit, but you can't use the most effective ingredients there because they're very irritating. So I had this idea, I was like, okay, well, let's just use an eye cream around your mouth. and see how it works. The reason being eye creams are typically particularly gentle, lower strength retinol, encapsulated, peptides, things that just work up here will probably be tolerated here. And so she's had quite a bit of success with that. So I'm loving this eye cream to lip area hack. However, if there is a cause to the darkness, such as chronic irritation or inflammation causing post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. I'm getting good at rhyming, in case you haven't noticed. It's showing up in the videos. I'm kind of like, I don't know why. But then you have to, of course, treat the underlying cause, and then you can move on to treating the dark spots themselves. That's possible. That is possible. How often should someone with dry, sensitive skin exfoliate? I would say it's very age dependent. So even early on, and I'm not sure I've communicated this clearly, we probably need an exfoliating video revamp like we've done with some of our other topics. Exfoliating, in my opinion, may be unnecessary completely for younger individuals. And by younger, let's just arbitrarily say it's like, I don't know, mid-20s and younger. Random number, don't take it to heart. Everyone is different. The other side of it is the older we get, the less our skin cells turn over. Like, this is an undeniable truth. And because of that, we get a lot of skin changes that have to do with retention, meaning your skin doesn't shed, so it can look more dull, it looks more textured, it's also more flaky, as well as being more dry because you don't make natural moisturizing factors, skin oils, and things like that. And so the older you get, the more important exfoliating becomes in your skincare routine. So if a person has sensitive skin and they're young, I would say you may not need to exfoliate at all. It's probably a completely unnecessary step. And as beneficial as it can be, it may not be for you. For someone who, as you get a little older, let's say 30s, and you're moving forward from there, then I would say the whole thing is just listen to your skin. If you do it once a week and you're tolerating it fine, that's reasonable. If you haven't noticed, most of the exfoliating products say to use nightly. So for a person who is using them as directed from the packaging, if you can do it nightly and you don't have irritation, that's acceptable. But I would say first prioritize something like your retinoid and then work in the exfoliating weekly. And if somehow you can get to nightly tretinoin or nightly retinoid and nightly exfoliation, that sounds like quite a bit. It's probably way too much for most people, but everyone's skin is their own. So that's what I think. Do you need an exfoliant if you already use tretinoin? No. Again, the older you get, the more beneficial that combination would have because both increase the turnover of your skin. Tretinoin increases the skin cell turnover directly. So it's not like breaking apart the skin bonds to help the skin like shed, but it increases the frequency at which your skin kind of like creates new skin. And exfoliators break down the bonds between your keratinocytes to help break down the skin, let you release the skin. So they have like a complementing profile for someone who actually directly needs that. And then they both work on collagen. They both work on a lot, pretty much most aging skin concerns in different ways. So they complement each other exceptionally well. But not everyone has to do both. Vaseline on the face. You've heard this is good. Well, it is true. Vaseline, it's such a controversial product, but it's extremely unaesthetic. It is wildly inexpensive, like basically giving this away at the stores. And it's the most occlusive ingredient out there. And so it not only locks in other moisturizing ingredients, it also can lock in your own skin's moisture if you have a good healthy baseline already. So Vaseline definitely has a functional purpose for someone on the face. You don't have to do it for a damaged skin barrier post-procedurally, or if like me, you try out a lot of products, which you probably shouldn't, and you get a lot of irritation, a lot of allergic contact reactions, a lot of irritation reactions, then petrolatum can be a lifesaver, and that's fine. Would I recommend retinol on the lips? Ooh, on the lips themselves. So this isn't just the lip skin. I am wildly protective of lips, unreasonably so. Unreasonably protective of lips, and I don't know why. This is like a passion of mine that just grows every time I talk about it. So retinol on the lips. Why would you do it? Retinol helps with collagen synthesis. It helps with dark spots. It helps with aging. It helps with a lot of things that actually don't occur on the lips. People do get dark spots on the lips. Mucosal lentigines, in fact. Ooh, do I dare try to put up another picture? Probably not. Mucosal lentigines are dark spots on the lips. They would not respond to retinol in any meaningful way, in my opinion. And for other lip changes, I think retinol would only make them more irritated, and I don't believe they would have much of a meaningful benefit. I don't think they would plump them. I don't think you would get juicier lips. I think you would only get drier or irritated lips themselves. Around the lips, again, eye cream, retinol, that's fine. The other side of it too, exfoliators on the lips. We'd have to go back to my lives from years ago. I can't believe I've been doing this for years now, on and off. I've never liked the idea of exfoliating lips. I have this sugar lip scrub here in front of me. It's one of those brown sugar lip scrubs. I did a video. I thought it was fun. But yeah, it's delicious. It has no functional purpose for your lips. But maybe I will put this picture up because I think it's valuable. Here's the reason I do not like lip exfoliators. Lip histopathology. So when you think about an exfoliator, what is an exfoliator doing? It is not breaking off and peeling off the deeper layers of the skin. It is only doing, there we go, this is perfect. It is only doing one thing, and at one depth. It is breaking down the stratum corneum. It is thinning out what we call the stratum corneum, or the top layer of the skin. Now, the assumption, therefore, would be, if you're going to exfoliate your lips, you should probably have a top layer of your skin that you're exfoliating. Oops, I have Yes Style running in the background, by the way, just in case we were going to shop some Korean skincare together. Just waiting for it to be mentioned. So I'm going to blow up this picture really big to try to make it easy to see. And here it comes. I hope you are ready. Boom. And just wait for it if you can't see it yet. Maybe I'll move it over. Nah, there's no good place for it. So what you're seeing in front of you, what I believe you're seeing in front of you at this time, if you look at this figure, letter C, the mucosal lip, versus letter B, skin. It's super hard to see because it is so small, but you get this like sense of a thicker, darker pink rim around letter B. Almost purplish, in fact. Maybe I can make this even bigger. Even bigger. So the outer purplish layer is your stratum corneum. This is where exfoliators work. This is what's helping your skin. This is what they're removing. They're untexturing. And they do increase the skin cell turnover in the epidermis, which is the layer below it as well. You don't have that on letter C. There is no stratum corneum on letter C. There is no retention keratosis on letter C, which is giving you uneven tone, even flakiness sometimes on your skin. It does not exist on your mucosal lip. It's not there. So I've always been wildly passionate and deliberate about the idea of exfoliating on the lips themselves. I don't think it's necessary because I don't think functionally it has a purpose. So yeah, anyway, that is the why behind why I don't like exfoliating mucosal lips. You don't have the stratum corneum at all. And I think it ends up doing much more damage than good. I will tolerate fragrance, limonene, linalool, citronella, I don't know, essential oils. I'll tolerate that on the skin all day. Exfoliators all day on your body before I will find it acceptable for the lips. Yeah. I don't even have that many lip struggles, but I'm like super passionate about protecting lips. Hi from North Carolina. Is Accutane no longer being prescribed? It's the only medication that worked for my cystic acne. I'm having cystic acne again, and doxycycline, which is an antibiotic, didn't help at all. So Accutane or isotretinoin, oral vitamin A, oral synthetic vitamin A, it's absolutely being prescribed still. It is a pain in the butt to prescribe. That and these biologics, which are the systemic treatments for Accutane or for psoriasis and eczema. It is so much work for your doctor to prescribe these sometimes, and for the practice overall. You literally hire other people just to get these things approved for your patients. We've had internal discussions in my practice where people don't want to prescribe these anymore, and some doctors and some providers don't, just because it's so much work to get these for patients. Some doctors have strong opinions about these products, Accutane in general, so they may not want to or feel comfortable prescribing it. That's fine. That's their professional prerogative. It is absolutely still available. It has the one thing going for it. It can be curative for acne. It's extremely effective. So for some people, it's absolutely the right treatment. For some people, it's not, but it is still available. It's a tough discussion. I wish maybe at some time we'll figure out how to vocalize this to, or verbalize this to like a larger audience. But one of the biggest frustrations, honestly, is the amount of work it takes to do something like Accutane for patients or psoriasis treatment for patients. It's so sad because it's almost prohibitive, and that's not even talking about the crazy cost to the system, but it's like a personal conviction to get these patients on these medications because it can be helpful, but it's like a net monetary loss for the practice sometimes. Literally just do it because I genuinely feel like it's helping people, but it's so much more work. What happens if you use more than a pea size of retinol? I'm so happy you brought this up. So what is the size of a pea? Can someone give me like the surface volume of a pea? I don't know. Someone brought this up to me. I don't know. It was probably like their skincare ick. You know, the thing that they can't stand when it comes to skincare. I don't believe I use a pea size amount for my face. I always kind of try to phrase it this way. Use the thinnest layer possible to cover your whole face, because maybe I have a big face. That's quite possible. I have a big nose and my head might follow suit. I know I wear a big hat size. So a pea size amount may not be enough for everybody, but hopefully you have a good product. Like Dr. Shah, of course, everything deliberate. He is super meticulous. One pump for his products is like a solid amount to get my whole face. I don't want to put it on right now because I'm actually going to put it on later when I use this product, but whatever the thinnest layer possible is for your face with your retinol, your tretinoin, use that. For most people, sure, a pea. Some people, let's say 2 peas. Basically, your eye, if you don't need that much though, and you're using that much, it's either going to do 2 things. One is you're either wasting product because you don't need that much. 2, maybe it is too much and you're going to cause too much irritation. So just the thinnest layer possible, and that's why. Let's see here. Hi, Dr. Maxfield. Hope you're doing well. I absolutely am. I'm here with you. That makes me very happy. Thank you. My skin is so dry, sensitive, eczema, and acne prone. Micellar water seems to be the only cleanse that my skin likes. Is that okay to use alone? Micellar water, so micelles, this nice combination of water-fearing and water-loving molecules that help remove hydrophobic ingredients and products from the skin. I like micellar water. I used to love it. Now I love cleansing balms. But micellar water, basically, you can put it on a cotton round to get the max benefits. I guarantee you can just use it alone and get some benefits. I do it all the time. For someone, if it's not irritating you and that's what your skin tolerates, then that's fine. I would say you probably do need to rinse it off though, occasionally. It's controversial. Do you need to rinse off the micellar water after you've wiped it off? I mean, occasionally, I'd say at worst, because you don't want to, I just think you should leave anything on the skin indefinitely. At some point you need to rinse your face. But yeah, if your skin tolerates micellar water as your dedicated cleanser, perfect. I think there are some amazing micellar waters out there. I've gone through the LRP of micellar water quite a few times, those big bottles. CosRx has their like low pH niacinamide micellar water I like quite a bit. Bioderma, I've tried theirs. There's so many good options. They're not that expensive. CeraVe, they have a micellar water. That's perfectly fine. I like that as well. Budget friendly. So God bless. Use them. I, again, personally like cleansing balms quite a bit. And tretinoin combined with minoxidil for male pattern hair loss. So yeah, I talked about that earlier. Hopefully someone can timestamp this video on my end. It's so that it's more like beneficial to people going forward, because I did talk about this before. Tretinoin plus minoxidil can be beneficial for pattern hair loss. That specific combination is where tretinoin shines for hair loss, and then LED for hair loss as well. What else can you do? Okay, so here's the deal. Hair loss is one of the most difficult things to talk about in the office. I feel like you need like a dedicated hair loss time slot because it's quite complicated, quite a personal and emotional issue for people, and quite a difficult thing to treat. So I actually created this printout in my office. I have done so much reading and research on this. I have put so much work into looking into these nutrients, into the supplements, into the topical ingredients, into everything, over-the-counter and prescription for hair loss. So here, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to pretend that I have my sheet in front of me and we'll go through this together. So hair loss, we're going to assume I've already diagnosed it. That's not true. I did not diagnose you, but we're going to assume that in this invisible person, we've diagnosed hair loss. It is not scarring. It is not inflammatory. It is not autoimmune. It is not telogen effluvium. It is in fact androgenic. Sorry, I bumped the microphone because I couldn't see it. It is in fact androgenic alopecia. Now, top to bottom, I start with shampoos. Why do I start there? Because that's kind of often your first step. Shampoos are not that helpful for hair loss. Even ingredients that can be helpful in shampoos are like modestly helpful. I'd say you have two main options, one of which is ketoconazole. Nizoral over the counter. This has been shown to be helpful for hair loss. The second thing I'd say is Aminexil. Aminexil is an ingredient. It is difficult to find in the US. I think I did find a website where you can buy it. I brought some back with me from Paris. There is an Aminexil shampoo from Durkos you can use. Both of those has some evidence that it can help with hair loss. Fine. Shampoo, move on. Then you go to your leave-on products. Here we have topical over-the-counter options. The most evidence-based is, of course, minoxidil Rogaine. You already talked about that. You can mix that with tretinoin. That's certainly fine. Caffeine and green tea both have some randomized controlled trials showing they're helpful. I think they actually have about the same body of evidence, if not a little bit better than rosemary oil, which I still think is fine. It was certainly overhyped. There is more than one study. No one ever talks about that, but rosemary oil, I do believe, also has some benefits. So there's three. Green tea, caffeine, rosemary oil, perhaps being not in the top tier, but an option. Then let's say you have, beyond those topicals, let's say we have supplements. The ingredients that have never been shown to be helpful are, let's say, biotin. I think that's worth a mention because everyone buys biotin for hair. There is all, I don't think there's a single study showing it's helpful beyond people who have an inherited or diagnosed biotin deficiency. So the ones that are the most beneficial are your saw palmetto. It is a very well elucidated mechanism of action, and I hope you all can still see me because I'm not looking at the screen. And then pumpkin seed oil has some benefit, so it's like a tier 2, tier 3. And then there are these like amino amar complexes and synergen complex that can combine some of these ingredients. So basically, for supplements, I like Nutrifoil. I was I almost ate the mic. Very skeptical of supplements. They did their research. They use evidence-based ingredients. They did randomized controlled trials on their own formulations. And I think that's as much as you can ask. I like Nutrifoil and I recommend in the office. However, Viviscal is your more budget-friendly option, also very evidence-based. And then that's your supplements, your topicals, your shampoos, and then you have your prescription options. Spironolactone helps with the hormonal part. Finasteride also helps with the hormonal part. There are caveats with both. And oral minoxidil has benefits across the board, helping not with the hormonal part, but with the hair growth cycle and blood flow. And then you have LED masks. It has to be lasers, not just LED. That's the caveat. Wow, that was a lot. Okay, and then you have PRP. I think it's a big investment for a modest improvement, but it can be helpful for some people. And then you have hair transplant surgery. We're done. That should suffice. Okay. All right, that was good. Cleansing balm do I recommend? So there are a few ones I really love. So you have so cleansing balms do a great job at removing water-resistant makeup and water-resistant sunscreen. Otherwise, you don't have to use them. I love them because I wear a lot of sunscreen because I'm outside and active all the time. I'm like this paradoxical dermatologist who loves being outside, thinks everyone should be moving and active, but also protect their skin. The ones I've really used the most here, the Versed has a cleansing balm. It's in a pink container. I don't love that one as much as their green balm. And it's not even a cleansing balm. It's their green facial balm, like the recovery balm. But even, I think somewhere on the packaging at one point it said, you can double as a face moist balm, but it certainly does. So I've used that one. I've gone through multiple containers of it in that way. Clinique, I have theirs. It's a big purple container for a cleansing balm. I use that a lot. It's huge. It's great. Both of these very gentle. Like I think they're both fragrance free. I love the Clinique cleansing balm now. The one, if you want an experience, one of my favorite ones of all time is the pharmacy green one. It smells like those little green marshmallows that are just so dang delicious. So I love those. And then, yeah, I guess that's it for now. Those are like probably in my top 3 cleansing balms. Something I use a ton of and need more of at any given point. Shower twice a day. Okay, so should I shower twice a day for back acne? Wait a minute. Let's see here. Hi, should I shower twice a day for back acne? A 4-step skincare routine, AM and PM, 24 different for anti-aging and acne. Okay, so we'll take it one at a time. Back acne. How do you treat back acne? Would showering twice a day help? I would say it depends when you exercise. I think one of the most important things for back acne is making sure you wash off after you exercise. But then there is also the consideration of bed sheets. Do you sleep with a shirt on? That's the easiest way to actually keep everything clean, because you're inherently going to wash that shirt every day, whereas you would not wash your sheets every day. That's probably, I don't know, how often is that? How often do you all wash your sheets? So those are the two hygiene things that might be helpful for back acne. Otherwise, topically, it's difficult to get. The hardest thing is just getting ingredients there. And then the second hardest thing with back acne is because of the thickness of the skin, it's often cystic. Like it's so much more common to get these deep cystic lesions on the back than it is, even if you don't get it on the face. Often the back acne can be scarring. So if a person has deep cystic back acne, you can do topicals. You can do tretinoin, I think is very valuable there. Get a buddy or get one of those back buddy spatula things, rub it on your back. Additionally, they make these salicylic acid sprays now. Fairly convenient to get there. So making an AM PM routine out of this. Let's say you wake up, let's say you exercise, then let's say you should shower. And then when you get out and in the shower, you can use a benzoyl peroxide wash. So let's not forget that, paramount for body acne. In the shower, you've used your benzoyl peroxide wash. You get out, you can use your salicylic acid spray. If you have prescriptions, you would use some of these here, your topical antibiotics, etc. Then in the evening, let's say you go throughout your day, blah, blah, blah. Let's go ahead and say you do shower twice a day. I don't think it's going to be detrimental or harmful in any way. So go ahead and do that. And then let's say you use your normal cleanser in the evening wash. And then after that, you're going to use your topical tretinoin there. And again, depending on the depth, oral antibiotics or some form of oral treatment may very well be necessary on the back. Yeah, I think that's relatively sufficient for that one there. Tretinoin, okay, can you use tretinoin at night and the ordinary azelaic acid in the morning for hyperpigmentation? Tretinoin for night and the ordinary azelaic acid. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. So azelaic acid helps for acne. It helps for hyperpigmentation. I think it's a supporting ingredient. I'm trying to be very clear about this for people these days. Because in part, because we talk about individual products, and I take sponsorships from individual products. So I want people to be able to reference back and be like, is this foundational? Should I start here or should I add this on later? Like, I love azelaic acid. I think it's great. Do I think you should use only azelaic acid? Absolutely not, unless you for some reason can only use that one ingredient. I think it's a supporting ingredient. It shines best when combined with something like tretinoin. So yes, you can use azelaic acid once a day in the morning. You can use it twice a day and then use your tretinoin at night. Either way, whatever your skin tolerates is a good thing for hyperpigmentation. That is absolutely fine. I love that. That's such a good idea. So this comment says you need a t-shirt with you flexing on it saying I build pyramids, and then next to it the skincare pyramid and saying definitely not Dr. Shah. I love that. That's so funny. So funny. A video on cruelty-free products. Yeah, I think it's like a reasonable thing, and it would be a good long form video because there's so much nuance to discuss about this. And you're like, why is there so much nuance about this? I definitely see the value in it. Do you really need to be testing products on animals in 2024? And the answer is probably not. But the broader topic actually goes back further, and it's, do you need to be testing before 2013, which is an arbitrary cutoff for the cruelty-free label. And there was a point where there wasn't really an alternative. And now as technology has improved, thankfully, you may not have to anymore. And again, this is just in the cosmetic space. That doesn't even talk about the systemic medications people are getting for major life-threatening medical issues. It's a huge topic. So that's why I think if it's ever talked about, it has to be in a very long form, dedicated topic. Maybe even where me and Dr. Shah take opposing sides. Regardless of what we believe, we just take opposing views, or at least because I think it's such a deep and important topic. Let's see. Sorry. Why did the chat freeze? There we go. Let's see here. Hi, Dr. Maxfield. Is there anything that can be used at home? Oh, by the way, green tea. Sorry, I don't want to go back to it too much, but green tea tested on animals, Polypodium leucomotus, another plant-based antioxidant tested on animals. And so some of these things, it's like they've been tested on animals. It's just a matter of when. Again, there's this 2013 arbitrary cutoff where you can like use the label or not. And so I honestly don't know if it's meaningful to the way we hope it would be meaningful. Sorry, moving on to the next question. Is there anything that can be used to help clear the thin red veins caused by rosacea or the redness, specifically at home? So I don't know if you can tell. I am developing persistent redness from rosacea, and it's a nuisance. And I hope it goes away. It may not, and that's fine. That's life. There are 4 types of rosacea, and I can't wait to do another dedicated rosacea video. The 4 types. We have ocular rosacea, not germane to our conversation here. We have acne rosacea. We have phymatous rosacea, or the oil gland type, which I do have a little bit of that. It just is what it is. And then we have the redness, the vascular erythromatoglandotatic rosacea, which is the question here. That's where you get this flushing. You get this flushing on your skin after emotional stress, hot temperature food, spicy food, alcohol. Those are the strongest triggers, and sunlight. It initially is intermittent, meaning like, okay, you went out in the sun, you had a drink, you got stressed, you're in an argument. Guess what? It flushes, it goes away. It becomes persistent. Not only do you get this persistent red hue, but you get individual dilated large vessels that are persistently present. And the unfortunate caveat with this, and I very clearly communicate this with my patients because often I think they're disappointed with the results they get with topical treatments, even prescriptions. So I'm always very clear, always in the office. I say, unfortunately, topicals do not really have a meaningful benefit for the vascular rosacea. Now, there is an exception. There are some ingredients that constrict blood vessels. Prescription Rhofade is one example. Over the counter, you know those Afrin nasal sprays? I've seen, I can't remember, a dermatologist has talked about this before. It wasn't me, but this was their home hack. You apply this nasal spray like Afrin on your blood vessels, it constricts it. The whole mechanism is to constrict blood vessels. And so functionally it's like makeup, but it directly addresses the cause, which is persistent dilated structural change in the blood vessels. That can help. It's a great home hack in a pinch. If you need the redness to fade, you're going to go on a hot date, get a picture made, which is how they say it here in the South, by the way. You're going to go get your picture made. It's a great home hack. The controversy surrounding this is if you use it every day, just like when you use it in your nose, can your receptors become dependent on it? Can your skin get dependent on this to the point where if you don't use it, you're not only going to flush, you're going to flush worse? And that's possible in my opinion. So I don't widely recommend it, but it is a great thing in a pinch. And sadly, nothing topically otherwise makes any meaningful difference. Some ingredients may slow the progression a little bit, but it's hard to quantify. It's hard to appreciate. The other side of it is that's lasers. So I do a lot of vascular laser. I don't do certain cosmetic procedures very much. I do others more. This is one that I do more of. Vascular laser, it can be very, 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 very dramatically effective for the individual large dilated vessels. I love it. It's like a black and white response. People get fairly consistent results. The other side of it is the diffuse redness that struggles a lot more. That's a lot more difficult to treat. And I do believe that IPL is a treatment that can be helpful. So it's not a laser. Intense pulse light, BBL is a similar thing, or another name for it. That can be helpful for that diffuse redness. So there is that. Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look at that. So let's see here. What SPF cream for people over 40? I guess the question is, does someone over 40 need a different SPF? And I guess, and I'm thinking out loud here, which I haven't caveated yet this video. I usually do when I'm going live. Do you need a separate SPF? I think through the problem out loud, just so we can share in this like thought process. So over 40, what skin changes occur? You get more texture, skin doesn't turn over as quickly, it's drier progressively over time as well. You get the anti-aging changes. So I guess all you're looking for is a sunscreen that blends, of course. That's across the board, that's universal, and then perhaps with some anti-aging benefits. So now I'm like, okay, what sunscreens have added ingredients? Mostly you're just going to find niacinamide because it's a really nice stabilizing ingredient, easy to add anywhere. So I don't know. I don't know if you need a dedicated different sunscreen, really. I'm not aware of anything you need uniquely, so I will just drop out some of my favorite Korean sunscreens. Beauty of Joseon, Isntree Watery Sun Gel. I'm getting and I know I'm saying that name wrong, I'm sorry, like Beauty of Joseon, the drops, the serum, this SPF serum, I'm getting that now, and I'm expecting I'm gonna like that a lot. Again, if you're looking for mineral, Biossance is insanely good, but I don't think you need a dedicated one. And is the laser a permanent fix? That's a great question. So the laser kind of does permanently get rid of the vessels you have. The problem is you're gonna get more. The underlying cause of rosacea is this baseline level of inflammation that's constantly signaling between cells, and part of the consequence of that is it creates this dilated change in your blood vessels. That does not go away. So while it does get rid of the vessels you have, your body is constantly trying to grow new ones, and you will get them. And for each person, that's different. So it's kind of like laser hair removal. Let's go back to the hair on my back, hair on everyone's back. If you get laser hair removal there, great, it got rid of the hairs, but your body is just in this trajectory. It wants to grow more, it's trying to go more, and you're fighting against it your whole time. So if you do laser on your blood vessels, you get rid of what you got, you're going to create more. For some people, you, let's say, do a few treatments up front to get rid of everything you have, and then you go into this maintenance phase, where perhaps once a year you get it touched up. Maybe less than that, maybe it's like once every 3 years you get a touch-up treatment. So again, the benefits are meaningful, and once you get into the maintenance phase, the treatments are a lot less. So I think it's a good return on investment for someone who can invest in that. Let's see here. Purpose of alcohol in tretinoin creams and gels. Should you be concerned? The only reason you should be concerned about denatured alcohol in your skincare is if it's irritating your skin. I know Dr. Shah is quite passionate about that, or at least historically has been, but it's very personalized. So it does usually have a functional purpose in many skincare ingredients, whether for aesthetics or otherwise. You'll see it in a lot of sunscreens. If you look at the back of most spray sunscreens, it's wildly high up in that list, but it's probably functional for the formulation. If it doesn't irritate your skin, fine. If it does, look for one without it, and perhaps it can be helpful. I remember distinctly there was a product, I don't want to say because I might be wrong, but it might have been the La Roche-Posay retinol at some point, or maybe their vitamin C, because they notoriously have alcohol and fragrance very high in the ingredient list, and it really irritated the mess out of my skin. And at the time, I had extremely resistant skin. Nothing irritated my skin, nothing. But that one did, and I do believe it was just a formulation with some unnecessary ingredients at unnecessarily high concentrations, and denatured alcohol being one of them. So there's that. Oh, that's an interesting one. Is it possible to make, the question, I don't know where it went, tinted sunscreen by using sunscreen and adding, what were you going to add to it? I missed that part of it. Oh, foundation together. So here's this. There's always this caveat. Now, there was another question earlier. Can you mix two chemical sunscreens together that I didn't have a chance to answer? Anytime you're going to mix with a formulation, you're going to decrease its effectiveness. If you're going to mix tretinoin and a moisturizer to decrease irritation, you're going to decrease its effectiveness at some point somehow. So if you're going to mix foundation and sunscreen together, at least you're going to dilute the sunscreen. That's like the very least. And we're assuming that the formulation is stable, so the foundation doesn't actually affect the stability of the sunscreen at all. So I don't know. Like, you probably could. You probably could, but it's arbitrary to know how much it affects the sunscreen overall. So let's say you start with an SPF of 50, which is a little bit overkill. Let's say you dilute it down to SPF of 30. That would be acceptable, but we really have no way of knowing how much it's getting affected. It's kind of, realistically, this is one of those like textbook versus real life things. Look, if that's what it gets you to wear it, go for it. 100% go for it. If it goes from SPF 50 to SPF 25, God bless, you're wearing it. On paper, maybe it's trash. Maybe in a study somewhere it's buried and you're like, oh no, this is not good. It messes with the great. I mean, like, it is what it is. But I have a huge thing about real life skincare where if practically that's what it takes to get you to do it, then it is what it is. It's just life. So it's not optimal. For sure it's not optimal, but it's acceptable. By the way, I think I came up with that phrase. Not optimal, acceptable. That'd be another t-shirt I need. Use of at-home treatments for corns and calluses. Corns are the things on your feet. Not only is it just thickened skin, but they develop this hard keratinous core. It's like a seed. And if you've ever had a corn, which I have not to date, but I will at some point in my life, it's thickened skin, but it's very painful to walk on because at the center, it's like a pebble. And it's thick. It almost has the density of a pebble. And so the treatment is, let's say, threefold. One is while it's wet, you pumice stone it down. You break down that callus down. You hopefully can even get to the core because that skin has no nerve fibers. It's typically painless to break down this stuff. Then that's your like aggressive treatment phase. The other side of it is you are going to use something that is very exfoliating, urea, glycolic acid, all of this. This helps prevent that thickness from recurring. That's step 2. That's your maintenance. Step 3 is you can use something to offload the pressure. All of our foot bones settle in. Like if you wonder why people get corns and calluses later in life in places they've never had them, we have structural changes in our feet more than our face. And so you develop these like pressure points where you have a crazy amount of pressure over a long period of time, and it causes these things to form. So that's why we have corn pads. That's why you have shoes with insoles for corns. That's why you have all these things. So offload the pressure on that spot. Get it so where when you step, you're not pressing on that spot maximally. And that's also part of the prevention phase. So you have your acute treatment, you have your maintenance, you have your prevention, and that's the best you can probably do. Let's see here. Yeah, t-shirt ideas. I know. I know. I love these t-shirt ideas. I'm doing nothing with them. Actually, we'll make a community post too soon here. Just like what would be valuable for you. I know Dr. Shah is coming out with a lot of like high quality merch, and I don't even think we're looking to sell it. It's just like, how do we get it to you? We just want to kind of have fun and appreciate you all. So probably do a community post in terms of like, what would you like us to do? What can we give to you? What can we like do with you? So some of these might be my t-shirt ideas, maybe just for him. Let me pull this up. By the way, I wonder if the music is still going. The annoying thing about this, I can't hear the music, but I think you can. Yeah, it's still going. So proud of that. Okay. Let's see. They're going to lunch. I just got a text. They're going to lunch. It's 10:30 here. Y'all are crazy. I'm going to put this up on the screen. Let's see. Oh, it timed out. Okay, hold on. I'm going to put something else up on the screen here. Learn. Analysis. From archive. There. Review. Start review. Okay. What does that look like? All right. So this has nothing to do with skincare, and just deal with it. I'm just taking a mental break for a moment. So there's that. This is a game I played. So I'm white. This was wild. Wild. Look at this. So he comes in. Brilliant move. Brilliant move. I'm so proud of that. So he moves his bishop there. Wild. And I think I sat here, I don't know how long I said, but maybe a minute. It is very uncommon to get a brilliant move like this from me. Chess is such a mental exercise. If you're wondering, why do I play chess? Why do I care? Well, I like to surf. That's the way I find peace. Like, that's the way I like experience nature. And chess is the way I continue to exercise my brain. Because yes, although I am continuously learning in skincare and medicine, there's a level where most things become review. And in medicine and skincare, I've hit that. This is the way for me to actively engage my mind in a way that it feels like it hurts. Like, I want my mind to push against this proverbial wall so it's stretching and exercising to the point that it's difficult. And this is how I do it. So anyway, we'll just go ahead and play this out. Checkmate. Oh, what a nice finish. Okay, we can be done with this. I know no one cares. We're done. But it took a brilliant move to finish that game. Now back to the skincare. I'm back on topic. I am back on topic. Let's see. Is thickening of the skin always from rosacea? So so we talked about rosacea. Of the 4 types, one is the oil gland type. The first sign of this, and Dr. Shah called me out years ago. He said, Dr. Maxfield, I think you're getting rosacea because you're starting to get enlargement of your nose, probably from oil glands, and also you are getting dilated pores on the nose. This is one of the earliest signs of phymatous or oil gland rosacea. So enlarging of the nose, thickening of the nose, it often is a form of rosacea. I think everyone gets it to some extent, but it can be quite dramatic, guys especially. And yes, statistically, it's almost always guys, and there are like some very nuanced differences with rosacea like this. But the first sign is these dilated pores. Then over time, the pores become more prominent, the nose enlarges. It's actually the oil glands that are enlarging. And I would say that pretty much the most common cause is going to be rosacea. Topically, you can try things to use that can decrease the oil gland production, address the structural changes. And actually, that's why out of the products, I was like, okay, which one do I want to target more? I have pores and I have dark spots. I also have dry lips. Which product do I use? And so that's why I dedicated, last 3 weeks, the next week too, I'll be using this remedy for pore size almost exclusively for a long period of time. That's why I picked this one to go with. I was like, well, let's see how it does for the more difficult concern, which is the pore size. So it's actually done really well, by the way. But anyway, so thickening of the nose is often due to rosacea. Let's see. Yeah, what electronic game is that platform on? Chess.com, and then Lee Chess is another one that most people are using for their chess too. Dr. Wolf app for chess? I'll look at that. I'm not familiar with that one. Dr. Shah, you came to see him. You are out of luck. Sorry. He has hopped on occasional lives. This is something I've done a little bit more consistently though. So, surf in Texas. How do you surf in Texas? I have been to Texas. I've been in the water in Texas. That thing was like a brown lake. That was like a little mud. I did not enjoy that experience on the water, but good for you if you found that. Incredible to make that work. How do you know if you have rosacea or red skin? That's a good question. Rosacea typically has that pattern where I talked about the triggers, where you have this transient flushing after stress, heat, sun, alcohol, and whatever else I said. And it becomes more persistent over time. It's actually a distinction that cannot be made completely, because both just sun damage and rosacea have the same endpoint, and that is redness and dilated blood vessels. And there are some other causes though for red flushing face as well. So when I look at a patient and I'm trying to determine if the redness is due to one or the other, sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes it does, but I take their whole skin picture into context. So for someone who has very healthy skin, otherwise very sun protected skin, there are no real dark spots. There's no hypopigmentation. There's no poikiloderma, which is a constellation of changes seen with sun damage. More likely it's due to rosacea. If a person has chronically sun damaged skin across the board and they also happen to have some red rosy cheeks, that's more likely due to sun damage. And so that's where it is. Where's my favorite place to surf? Oh wait, Dr. Shah is logged in. He says he cares. Awkward. He's listening. Let's see. Favorite place to surf, wherever's convenient. I'll be honest. I go to surf to relax, so I'm not looking for the biggest waves. I've surfed pre-hurricane swells. I'm not really comfortable. I think the highest I'll go is like 6 to 8 feet tall, like overhead, and I don't really care to go beyond that. But I just want to chill. When I'm out surfing, I'm just there to relax, just have fun, play in the water. I'm not stressing. So wherever is convenient and wherever I can get to. The study that shows 0.3% adapalene can improve atrophic acne scars. So I have not read this study, but I'll take it into the context of everything else I know about acne scars and acne. So the premise here, that 0.3% adapalene can improve atrophic acne scars. It's probably true. There's a thing we call statistically significant, but is it clinically significant? This is a huge problem with people throwing up abstracts on social media. And a huge problem, I think, of non-dermatologists, just in the skincare space specifically, when they talk about studies, it's relative to what your optimal results are. So for example, there was a brand was talking to me a long time ago. I won't name them, but they were showing me the results of their product, a pretty expensive product, I'll say. And it made a 3% change in wrinkles, or maybe it was even less. But that was their clinical endpoint, statistically significant. And so they said, yes, this makes a difference for wrinkles. This changes your wrinkles. We've shown that it's successful. Now, in my mind, I've said, well, I've read the retinoid studies. Retinoid studies show like a 15 to 30 to 40% improvement in wrinkles. That's my comparator, the prescription retinoid. So it took the breadth of knowledge to know that the statistical significance of their product versus the statistical significance of other products, also versus the significance of the day-to-day changes I see with patients, not only with prescription ingredients, but procedural things. That statistical difference became irrelevant. It became trash. And so what I would say for this Adapalene study showing that it can be helpful for atrophic acne scars, I 100% believe is true, because we know that retinoids, Adapalene included, can help change collagen. They can help with the appearance of scars. They do help structurally. Now the question is, to what extent? So if you're going to do something for scars at home, Adapalene, absolutely, I would recommend it all day. But I would not, and I don't think I would ever propose the idea that it is the most effective treatment for atrophic scars, or even comparable to procedural treatments for atrophic scars. Huge difference in the reality. So statistically significant, sure. Clinically significant, I would assume to be modest or mild, even though, yes, technically it is a visible improvement, and I think it's worth trying. But is it comparable to the most benefit you could see with other treatments? No. And that's the truth about most atrophic scars, because of the significant structural change. If they are like truly deep, like ice pick or boxcar scars or rolling, whatever you want to call them, really procedurally is the only place that people get black and white dramatic differences. But I would always say, yes, you should pair that with something topical to help complement that as well. So there's my long rant on statistics versus clinical. And yeah, anyway, there's that. Oh, is it possible to get mosquito bites on your face? Yeah, absolutely. You kidding? I hate bugs. I am a magnet for mosquitoes and these things called chiggers. And trombiculae, that's the other name for these, and then no-see-ums. These are 3 bugs in the South. They destroy me. If I'm out there with 20 other people, I'm the only one getting bit on my face, in my hair. So yes, they love me. You can definitely get mosquito bites on your face. The worst. Adapalene or tazarotene for collagen proliferation. That's an interesting duality choice. I would say tazarotene probably is going to be much more effective. Kojic acid, yeah, probably okay for long-term use. I'm probably going to have to hop off here soon. I can feel my brain withering. I'm just running out of steam here, and I know we have a lot of work to do today. We're going to shoot a podcast here too. And yeah, so I'm just looking at them. So I got some work to do. We have to do today. Anyway, I'll do a few more questions and then I'm going to have to hop off. Does hypochlorous acid have antifungal properties? Yes. Antifungal, antibacterial, antiviral. Hypochlorous acid is the bomb. Everyone should be using it. It should replace your alcohol-based hand sanitizer purely for your skin barrier's sake. Love it. Neurogenic rosacea. Neurogenic rosacea, this is a consideration for like discomfort and pain from rosacea. I have seen this occasionally, and I don't think it's a well-described medical entity, meaning that when it comes to an objective diagnosis, like something not symptomatic, but something measurable, quantifiable, this is not well described. And similarly for treatment. So I don't think there's anything super clear in terms of that entity, unfortunately, not yet. The other thing, ticks are the second worst. Ticks are wild. So back to the bugs, they said ticks are the worst. Ticks are insane. I was obsessed with this because they're so fascinating. They cause crazy immunogenic responses. Not only can they themselves, their saliva can paralyze you. A tick saliva can paralyze just on its own. Then there's also that it can give you a red meat allergy. There's also that it transmits wild diseases. Ticks are crazy. Mosquitoes are, I think, the deadliest animal in the world, like by statistically. And I think ticks are, that might be made up, but I actually think it's true. Ticks are also up there in terms of like being wildly dangerous. Mosquitoes and ticks are just like notorious bugs that don't get enough attention. Tretinoin without a prescription. I think you have to get a prescription everywhere, but I mean, that's just, so I don't have too much experience in other countries. And I don't know if that was, no, I didn't say the geographic location, but, so yeah, here in America, Tretinoin is only prescription. Wish there was a way we can help you get access to it. We'll see. Then it's like, it's a big thing. So like this tretinoin thing, we recommend it all the time. We'll talk more about this, but like I truly believe that it is like the single greatest topical skincare ingredient you can use. It's outstanding. And so like I definitely want people to be using it who can use it and who have access to getting it. I'm very passionate about that. I think it's extremely helpful from everything from aging to acne. So it's amazing. Yeah, no CMs adore you too. Me too. Oh, they're the worst. Oh yeah, let's see here. What I saw, dog bite and silicone scars, silicone scar gel. Like someone said they got bit by a dog, and then would silicone be enough? If you got bit by a dog, you probably need to go see somebody if it's a big bite, because there's bacteria that are in dogs, not as bad actually as cats. You're much more likely to get an infection from a cat or a human than a dog. There's medical and statistical truth to that. But then there's also the idea of it's a dirty bite. And if it's already clean, if it's already on the way to healing, then yes, silicone would be a good way to heal it up. If you've been evaluated, have had appropriate antibiotics or tetanus or whatever you might need, then I would still go with some sort of ointment-based healing process for the first month, perhaps arbitrarily 2 weeks to a month, like a petrolatum-based thing, like the Cetaphil healing ointment, like I said, was studied for post-surgical wounds. And then you would probably switch to silicone thereafter. Whoa, hundreds of deer ticks on your legs when you were little gives you nightmares. Yeah, that's scary. Oof. That's terrifying. Oh, Dr. Maxfield, visit the Philippines. There's so many islands here to surf. Oh my goodness, that's a dream of mine. I know when Dr. Shah went to Indonesia, which is where my family's from. I still have a lot of family in Indonesia. I would love to go to the Philippines. I would love to go to Indonesia. Those are like two of the places in the world I would like to go. All right. Anyway, I think that is it. We'll get cracking on some of our other work here. I appreciate you all for spending your Saturday with me. I had a lot of fun. I promise the streaming is going to get better in terms of technicality, but I'm super proud. You had music. I shared 2 images. 3. I shared 2 images, 3 images. And so I'm super excited about this. I will be seeing more of you, and I appreciate you for this. We'll figure out how to timestamp this at some point, just so you can reference back to it, because we talked about a lot. And so that'll be up at some point too. I hope this posts. I'm using a third-party service, but this better post to be saved. Anyway, thank you so much for your Saturday. I appreciate you always. So thank you so much.